Hi, my name is Dr. Matthew Morris. I'm the bassoon professor here at Ohio University, and today I'm talking about Ferling Etude number 3. As a slow etude, sustained, with lots of leaps in the melody, this is really about legato playing. The keys to legato playing are the following. First of all, number 1, abdominal support. Meet the resistance of the bassoon and the reed down here in the abdominal area. Don't try to do it in the mouth. That's going to lead to pinching the reed and give you sharp pitch and a pinched tone. Secondly, voicing. Using the tongue in the mouth to registrate. We think usually that articulation is the first function of the tongue, but really it's registration that the tongue is most involved in. And basically I'm talking about the use of vowel sounds A, E, I, O, U to function, to serve to get these shape in your mouth. As you play, the higher you play, you think of a brighter syllable. So as you go up, you would think of a I kind of sound. Third, constant air. If I take a piece of paper in my hand, like this one, just a piece of paper, and I hold my palm like this and begin to blow the air down on it, if I keep the airstream constant, the piece of paper will stay in my hand. Okay? If I use my air that way, blowing through the bassoon, not just into it, then I'm going to get a better sound. First of all, we're blowing through the bassoon, through the tone holes, which is after all why they're called tone holes, because the tone comes out of them. So we blow the air as if to blow the sound out of the tone holes. Then another important thing is crisp finger movement. When we move between one note and the other, changing fingerings, on a very small scale, very quickly happens this. If I play from B to C by gradually pulling my finger off of the hole, you hear this. You hear that sort of flat, stuffy, and then the fuzzy sound with the air leaking out. That happens between every change of fingering. So to minimize that event, we blow constant air through the horn, and then we move our fingers quickly and crisply so that we minimize the amount of time that the tone hole is open and closed. And then B, through the process where it's somewhat resistant in the middle when it's half open, half closed, we move the air through that to then overcome the resistance. Finally, an important technique for managing the leaps and in the melody is a flicking and speaker key usage. Now the way I go about doing, or at least to back up and go through the technique of that, it involves these 3 keys here. And it's bumping them or holding them down. If you bump them, we call it flicking, brushing them with your thumb. But when we hold them down when we play, that's called speaker key usage. It's not different keys, it's the same keys, but used in 2 different ways. So, and let me first of all play the opening to sort of incorporate all of the opening materials I was talking about legato playing, supporting the sound here, blowing through the air, constant air speed, and crisp finger movement. And then at the end, just to make sure that C, absolutely sure that C is clean, I bump the D key. It may seem unnecessary, but anything you can do to give a surety to response takes your mind off of having to do that and makes you able to concentrate on phrasing and intonation and smoothness of the melody. Right, in measure 6, I'm going to apply both a flicking and speaker key technique. On measure 6, I'm going to go for the B natural. I will play E flat, B natural, hold this key down to B natural, then release on the C. And then the last C of the measure, my thumb will move off of the whisper key and go and hit the D key. Flicking usually scares people to death because it's this sort of spasmodic motion, and so most people, a lot of young people, avoid it. Let me suggest that you think of any time you involve the whisper key in flicking to divide the note in which the whisper key is used in half. This is not an octave key. When you lift your thumb off, it doesn't automatically pop up. That is until you get the new Weisberg system, but of course that does away with the need for flicking. So when you're flicking using the whisper, with notes using the whisper key, divide the note in half. The F that's in that bar would be, if you think of it, first half of it being with the whisper key and the second half off, then you have a sort of a rhythmic concept of on, off, flick, on, off, flick. And you can start, in a sense, by dividing the note in half, on, off, flick. Then I guess in thirds, on, off, flick, on, off, flick. Then lastly in 4, to get it up to speed, 1, 2, 3, off, flick, 1, 2, 3, off, flick. You see? Just a concept to help you be able to use the flicking technique more, with more ease. So here's that bar. As you can see, smooth transition because I'm moving the air, using the flicking to facilitate response for those particular notes.